So good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Western Time or Pacific Time. On behalf of all of us at the Benefits Trust, we'd like to take this opportunity to say good morning and welcome and thank you very much for coming. Joining us from the Benefits Trust today is Lindsay Gibson is in the house. Mike Ignatz is here. Jordan Bullhose is here. Rob Crowder's here. And of course, the lovely Carrie Lane is with us. Give us a wave. There she is. Throughout the presentation today, if you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns, either raise your little emoji hand and I'll get to you, or put it in the chat box and one of these lovely, very capable team members will be able to help you out. We started these Zoomcasts a number of years ago. We were getting quite good traction on them, and we thank you very much for coming. But the philosophy has always been with these particular Zoomcasts that we do is it's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being in a room where everybody gets smarter. And that's the whole idea of this. It's about sharing of information. In the insurance industry, as we all know, we like to share information. And I see that Michael Lynx has just joined us here, for example. And I know Michael's been part of a study group for probably 35 plus years. And it's just an example of how information is shared in this particular industry. And I think it's phenomenal. So it's about being in a room where everybody gets smarter. For signing up for today, Mike Ignatz is going to be sending you a CE credit. We're also going to sign you up for our Trusted Advisor newsletter. I think we're close to 150 months consecutively with that newsletter. It's got lots of valuable information. One just went out, I believe, last week or earlier this week. I'm not sure, but anyways, you'll certainly see that. And as well as that, you're going to get a really short survey. It takes less than a minute to fill out. Please fill it out. Let us know how we did today, how we can do it better tomorrow, and what future subjects you'd like to see covered. Today, we're going to talk about value statements and why they're important, what to avoid, etc. So let me just share my screen here and let's get into it. There we go. Share. Everybody can see that. Great. It's about, what's your value statement? We want to talk about value statements. What we're going to talk about today, hold on a second. What we're going to talk about today is, what is a value statement? Why are value statements important? The elements of a strong value statement, how to create a strong value statement, how to use a value statement in your network. And it's about, I want to talk again about staying in your lane and then, answering questions, discussions, etc. We're going to finish up right at 11 o'clock sharp because we got to get that full hour in for your CE credit. And if we decide that we want to stick around a little bit after that, you're more than welcome to, and we'll answer any questions or continue our discussion a little bit less informally. So please feel free to stick around, but we'll send you, if you got to take off at 11, we understand. So quick little commercial about us. We're the Benefits Trust. We started on January 1st, 1994. So we've been around for some time. We're a full service third-party benefit administration company, or a TPA. We use a lot of TLAs in this business, the three-letter acronyms, but we're a full-service TPA. We work with advisors like yourself. We do not sell direct. We work with advisors like you. We are the largest independently owned TPA in Canada. And in 2024, just last year, we were named top employer and top benefit provider by Benefit and Pension Monitor magazine, two awards that we're very proud of. We provide custom employee benefit solutions to all of our end user clients. And the example that I like to use, if somebody, for whatever reason, it's their reasons, not ours, not yours, but if somebody wants a $333 vision care benefit every 18 months, we can accommodate that. It's a complete customized employee benefit solution. Exceptional client experience, because that's what the feedback that we get from many of our clients, that just the service levels are second to none. As well as that, we've got long-term relationships with all the major insurance carriers and service suppliers. And our target market, again, is working with advisors like yourself with clients from 1 to 100 employees. We do have a lot of clients that are larger than 100 employees, but again, our target market and where we spend 80% of our time is working with advisors like you in that 1 to 100 space. And the reason for that, quite frankly, just in Ontario alone, there's 440,000 prospects. We don't have all of them yet, so we're not expanding our target market at this point, but that's where the majority of business is in Canada, without a doubt. So let's take a step back. where we're going to start here. Well, what is a benefit plan? A benefit plan is nothing more than a promise between an employer and a group of employees or an employee. It's a promise between an employer and an employee. You work at a company, you get paid $53,000 a year, you get 3 weeks vacation, you get a holiday party, and if you go to the dentist, you get reimbursed 80% of your expenses for routine dental care. That's a promise that the employer is making to you. Often in most cases, the employer is going to outsource that promise to an insurance company or to a company like ourselves, but it's really just a promise. It's a promise between the employer and the employee. And it was really interesting. I was at a meeting a number of years ago, and I don't have any idea where this came from in my head, but I was with a prospect. I was with an advisor, and the three of us were having this meeting, and the advisor was kind of all over the place. And you could tell the prospect was getting upset. His arms were crossed. He was sitting back in his chair, and it was a frustrating first few minutes of this meeting. And I said to him, hold on a second, stop. What are we talking about here? And the prospect looked at me, still kind of upset, and he goes, we're talking about group life insurance and dental coverage and so on. I said, no. A benefit plan is a promise between an employer and an employee. And we sort of talked about that for a little while, and then all of a sudden you can see his body language change. And he goes, hey, I own this business. It's my business. I'm in control. I can promise anything I want, because promise is such a powerful word. It's an incredibly powerful word when you think about it. If I'm going to make, John Kovacs, you're on my screen here, so I'm going to pick on you. But if I make you a promise that say, I'm going to pick you up at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to do something, right? I'm going to keep that promise. That's integral to my integrity. It's integral to our relationship. Right? It's a promise that I'm making you. I want to deliver on that promise. It's a commitment. It's a contract. So it's important to look at benefit plans, I think, from that perspective. And I think it's also important to know is how do you know where your client is going? You know where they've been. They can tell you that, but how do you know where they're going? And I think it's important that we ask, and we have to ask these future-based questions. And those of you that have seen my presentations in the past, certainly have heard this before, but it's a question that I got from Dan Sullivan at the Strategic Coach, where I've been a disciple for the last 35 years. But it's all about, in this particular case, it's about this great future-based question, and it's simple. If we were meeting here 3 years from now and you were looking back over those 3 years, what has to have happened for you to say it's been the best 3 years of your life? It's a simple question. It's a question that people love to answer. They think about it. Quite often, they haven't been asked that type of question before. And they're going to tell you, they're going to give you a roadmap of where they're going. They're going to say, hey, we're going to continue to grow, or we're going to grow in this particular area. We're going to grow in that particular area. We're going to, merge with another company. We're going to sell. We're going to enter into new markets. We're going to do all sorts of things. They're going to give you a roadmap of where it is that they're going. And if you have a roadmap of where it is you're going, it's really easy to determine the best way to help them. So I think it's important to look at a benefit plan as a promise, and we have to know where the client is going and ask future-based questions. And this is a fantastic future-based question. I've asked this question a number of times. I ask it all the time to existing clients and all the time to existing advisors that we work with. But it's really interesting as well. Excuse me, you can ask it to anybody. I've asked it at a dinner party, and I remember with the conversation that we had at this particular dinner party, and at the end of it, people were going, that was one of the best conversations I've ever had at a dinner party, because it gives people a chance to think about their future. So it's a great question to ask. I know I've asked it with my son Rob here and his friends around the campfire up at the cottage, and it's amazing the answers that you get from these young kids as well. Oh, they're not that young anymore, but this was a while ago. Anyways, enough of that. Let's talk about value statements. What is a value statement? A value statement defines the core principles and beliefs that guide an individual, team, or organization. This is straight off the Wikipedia page, if you would, or not Wikipedia, right off of artificial intelligence. It's a foundation for decision making, shaping culture, and ensuring consistency, actions, and communications. Now, we've got a value statement. We're going to talk about that. But this is so true, because it's interesting. Everybody in our organization knows what our value statement is. Every team member knows what our value statement is. And decisions are made based on that value statement. That's sort of the core of our business. And what is the value statement? So it's important. What it does is it establishes that clear identity and purpose. Everybody understands in the organization, whether it's an organization of one or an organization of 10,000, they understand what the value statement is. But it guides the decision making and prioritization because you've got that foundation. It enhances credibility and trust with stakeholders. What's interesting is we've got a long-term relationship, as I mentioned, with all of the major insurance suppliers and service suppliers. They know what our value statement is as well. They buy into it, right? So they're coming at it from that perspective. It aligns actions with core beliefs and missions, and it helps attract people who share the same and similar value statements. Who are your best clients? Who are your best clients? Your best clients are the ones that believe in you, right? You look back at your stable of clients, and who are the best ones? And the best ones are the ones that are most aligned with you. And this is important because, as I mentioned, there's 440,000 businesses in Ontario with 1 to 100 employees, you know, and interviews are two ways. They're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them. And if someone is not, you're not on the same page from a value perspective, you've got that gut feeling. My gut's the first thing that comes into the room because it's the biggest, right? But you got that gut feeling. And it's interesting because if you're not aligned with someone, it's going to be a frustrating relationship if they decide to move ahead or if you decide to move ahead. But why do you want that frustration? So I think it's important that we look at interviews as two ways. And if someone's not on the same page as you, is it going to be a problem in the long term? Well, I think first impressions are critical when prospecting. They're absolutely critical. The first few seconds can make it or break it. And it's interesting because if you get, referred into a case or you're meeting someone new for the first time, or however you've set up a meeting with them, that those first impressions can make the first few seconds can make it or break it. You got to have a value statement. I think it's important. You got to have that statement streamlined. It's got to be clear. It's got to be concise. As I like to say, provide a clear message with variable facts and examples. Make it a qualifying statement. You're making it a qualifying statement. Make it about them and how you can help them. It's not about you. No one cares about you. It just cares about how you can help them. Right? Make it interesting so the prospect is hooked and wants further engagement with you. We're going to talk about that. It's a great conversation starter, and it makes it easy for people to refer you as well. If they know exactly what it is that you do and what your value statement is, it makes it easy for them to refer you. Hey, you got to talk to my insurance guy. You got to talk to my insurance girl, right? No, you got to talk to this guy because he does this, right? It's a different way of thinking. It's a great way to get referrals. So I think the elements of a strong value statement, I think there's 5 of them. They've got to be clarity. It's got to be clear. It's got to be simple, direct, easy to understand. That's key. Easy to understand. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be genuine and reflective of your true values. You can't just say it. You got to believe it, right? You got to absolutely believe it in what it is that you do, right? It's got to be relevant. It's got to be applicable to both internal and external stakeholders. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, yeah, we use this value statement, but all of our insurance partners and all of our service suppliers know what our value statement is, right? It's got to be relevant. So it's internal and it's external. It's got to be action oriented. It's got to inspire behavior and decision making. And it's got to be consistent. It's got to align with the overall mission and strategic goals of your organization. Now, again, you may be an organization of 1, you may be an organization of 100, you may be an organization of 1,000, but it's got to be consistent. It's got to align with those overall missions and strategic goals that you've created. So does your value statement have these 5 elements? It's a great way to check on it. It's a great way to check on it. Identify core values. You've got to identify core values. What core values, what principles are most important to you in your insurance practice? What are those core values? What's most important to you in your insurance practice? One of the things that I said when I first started in this business, again, no idea where it came from, but when I first started in this business, I made a commitment that I was going to do this for the long term. And it was simple. It was really simple. I said, I'm never I never want to change aisles if I see someone in a grocery store that I don't want to talk to. I want to talk to everybody. And it's interesting, Colin, you're on my screen here, and it's so I'm going to pick on you, using you as an example. But if I was, doing business with Colin, I want to do it with integrity. I want to do it with purpose. I want to do it with professionalism and so on. And if we decide not to do business together for whatever reason, that's fantastic. But if I meet you in a grocery store, I don't want to say, "Oh, there's Colin. I got to change aisles here." I don't want to run into him. No, I want to say, "Hey, great, Colin. Good to see you. How are things?" And I wish you continued success in the future, right? It's just that core value. So it's interesting when we look at this, what are the principles that are most important to your insurance practice? And again, examples: integrity, innovation, customer commitment, diversity, sustainability, excellence. Great, all fun words. The first two words in our value statement at the Benefits Trust is we help. We help. Powerful words. The first two words, we help, right? So it's not just about me, it's about our organization. What we do is we help. Everybody loves to be helped. Everybody loves to be helped. I don't care if you're a professional hockey player or a professional athlete of any kind, they've got lots and lots of coaches. If you're, a volunteer, it doesn't matter. People like to be helped. They truly do. People like to be helped. Integrity means always being honest and transparent in our dealings. We help is a core value of our organization. All of our staff are here to help. All of our team members, every single one of them is here to help. We want to be easy to deal with. But the first two words, we help. Continuing on, how to create your value statement, make sure that it's in line with your mission and your vision. A value statement should complement the broader goals of your insurance practice. The broader goals of your insurance practice. It should also reflect the long-term aspirations and commitments. The second few words of our value statement are, we help successful business owners build. We help successful business owners build. Build is a powerful word. Build means custom. If I'm building something for you, Louise, if I'm building something for you, it's me doing something for you. We help you, but we also build something for you that's unique to you. It's completely customized. It's unique to you. Someone is building me a deck in my backyard. Actually, later on this week, somebody is coming in and doing a kitchen renovation on our place, and they're doing it for us. They're building this kitchen. All they're doing is changing the counters, but it's for us, right? They're changing the counters, and they're doing this for us. But what we do at the Benefits Trust is we help successful business owners build. That also reflects the long-term aspirations and commitments. We're building something custom for you. Make it concise and impactful. Aim for a statement that is brief yet meaningful. Example, we're committed to innovation, integrity, and customer success in everything that we do. Well, what we do at the Benefits Trust is we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Simple as that. We help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Exclusivity, build custom anywhere else, right? Exclusive. It's wonderful. It's great, right? And then you've got to review and refine your value statement. Get feedback from key stakeholders, team members, board of advisors. Talked about board of advisors if you were on my January session talking about setting goals. Board of advisors doesn't have to be as formal as it sounds. It could be just another colleague, a friend of yours, someone in a different business that just wants to see you succeed and help you succeed. Run it past them. Test the statement's effectiveness by, considering it in real world applications. Try it out. Revise it periodically, right? So it's aligned with your evolving goals and your industry trends. This took us a great deal of time to create over the years. And this wasn't our first stab at it, but this is what we've come up with. And it's taken us a long time to do that, right? But it's taken a number of iterations of it to come up with it. So you got to test it and try it, and it's got to be able to roll off your tongue. Have you ever been to a party or met somebody at a networking event or just anywhere for that matter, and you ask them, hey, it's nice to meet you. What do you do? Hey, Gordon. Nice to meet you. What is it that you do? Right? And you ask them that question, and then they answer it, and then you have no idea. You got zero idea on what they do. It's confusing. You go, wow, that sounds impressive, I guess. I guess I should be impressed with you because you're the senior vice president of Western distribution of widgets in the Northeast corridor. Like, pardon? What the hell does that mean? Right? Like, I have no idea. And you're confused. And you ask them again. I always ask twice. And then they sort of, go into a longer, more confusing explanation of what it is that they do. And it's, oh my gosh, I have got no idea what's going on here. And then you talk about the weather or talk about, something completely useless like the fishing reports or whatever. But the question that I have is, how do you answer? See, a value statement explains what it is that you do. Someone asks me, Rob, what do you do? I say, we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. And it's interesting, right? It's interesting because it creates that conversation, because when I say that, they go, oh, that's interesting. How do you do that? It creates conversation. It's a conversation starter. How we do that is providing a custom employee benefit solution. And we got to know where our client's going. So, hey, if we were meeting here 3 years from today, what has to have happened for you to say it's been the best 3 years of your life? There's the first 30 seconds of the conversation. They're asking, how do we do that? And then I'm asking them questions about where they're going in their future. Right? It's a powerful thing. Things to avoid in your value statement. Things to avoid in your value statement. I've been in business for 10 years. No one cares. No one cares. It's not about you. It's about them. We have 125 employees. Or I'm part of an organization that has 125 employees. No one cares. I'm part of this network of people. No one cares. We are one of the top advisors in Canada. According to who? No one cares, though. That's your opinion. It's not a fact that prospects will believe. I remember being in Dillon, Colorado. Dillon, Colorado is due west of Denver, Colorado. It's a ski town, and it's this little town in the middle of a whole bunch of ski resorts. And we were staying there. Me and my friends and I were staying there for a couple of days, and we were skiing around at these different resorts. And we hung out at this bar that was right across the road from our hotel, and it was called the Dam Bar. And it was because there was this big dam that was there that conserved water for them. Anyways, it was this dam bar, and they had the best damn beer. And they gave themselves awards. And it was hilarious because they were just playing off the damn bar and the best damn beer and all this type of stuff, right? But when you say you're one of the top advisors in Canada, it's your opinion. It's not a fact that prospects are going to believe. We didn't believe it was the best damn beer, but it was cold and we were thirsty and we understood their humor and they were playing on words, right? Clients love our service-based culture. Again, it's an opinion, not a fact, right? These are things to avoid in your value statement. We've been in business 10 years. We got all these employees. We're the top of this, and the clients love our service-based culture. No, we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Doesn't say anything about how many employees we have, how long we've been in business since 1994, like I mentioned. Those are just facts about our business. It's not in our value statement. So let's break it down even more. What is your core business capability? This answers the question, what you do. Again, what we do is we help. We help. That's what we do. What are the desired business outcomes that you provide to your clients? This answer, why should they engage with you? What will they get out of it? Why should they engage with you, and what are they going to get out of it? Well, we help successful business owners build. Great, it's a qualifying statement. Build, that customized solution. You know what else happens when you build a solution for them? They hang on to it longer. They hang on to it longer. It's not as easily replaced by another advisor knocking on the door saying, I can save you 10% if we do a market survey. No, we've got a customized solution and it doesn't really work that way, right? The other thing is, what's your competitive differentiation? This answers, what is truly unique about you, and that gives customers, it gives customers that they're not going to look other places. Again, a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Exclusivity, something better. Everybody wants something that's better. Everybody does, right? So what do? We help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. This is our mission statement, our value statement, pardon me. And this is the first thing that people see on our website. Somebody clicks on thebenefitstrust.com, boom, this is going to pop up, right? It's much more interesting than, hey, we sell group insurance. Much more interesting than that. You know, you sit on an airplane and you're sitting beside someone and they say, hey, we're going to be, super close to each other for the next 8 hours while we're flying to Milan or wherever you're going, right? And what is it that you do? I sell insurance. And they go, great. Wonder what movie's on this flight. And they put their headphones on, right? What do you do? We help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Well, that's interesting. How do you do that? And then, you're going in your spiel. Hey, you know what? I don't know how to do that, I'm not a business owner or I'm not a successful business owner, but I know a guy that is, and you should speak with them, right? It's on the front page of our website. It's how I answer the question. And it's how, Rob answers the question and Carrie answers the question. And it's how Lindsay and Jordan and Mike answer the question. What do? We help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Nike. They bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you're an athlete. Great. Vail. Huge resort company. Huge resort company to create the experience of a lifetime. How do you do that? Let me tell you. Coca-Cola, to refresh the world, to make a difference. Oh, how do you do that? It was really interesting. I wrote up the chairlift a couple of years ago with the president of Coca-Cola Worldwide out of Atlanta. And we were just chatting and because you got like 12 minutes, you can't go anywhere, right? And I was sitting beside him and we were chatting about it. I said, hey, just out of curiosity, how much Coca-Cola did you sell today? Worldwide. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, we don't really measure that way, right? But he couldn't answer the question. But he goes, I'm going to find out because it's a great question and I should know the answer to it, right? But, if I say, what is it that you do? He said, I'm the president of Coca-Cola Worldwide. And then he couldn't answer the question. What is it that you do? To refresh, what do you do? We refresh the world to make a difference. Great. Fairmont, great hotel chain. They're all over the world. This one's kind of interesting, but investing in the positive development of our colleagues, guests, and destinations while providing genuine experiences in diverse destinations in a manner that promotes long-term sustainability and stewardship. A bit long, in my opinion, right? Pretty difficult to flow off your tongue, but it says a lot. It says a lot, but they're also talking about their employees as well. So are we. We help. Two powerful words. Right? These are value statements. Right? So now you got a value statement. Great. So now you got a value statement, one that you're trying out, one that you've created. At a high level, when we think about it, at a high level, selling is engaging someone in a future result that is good for them. Selling is engaging someone in a future result that's good for them. It's so important to look at the future, right? We had 7 minivans over the years, right? I loved minivans. I thought they were great. They were easy to get the kids in and out of. We have 3 boys. It was easy to get their friends in and out of. It was easy to store lots of stuff because you always carried lots of stuff with you. I thought minivans were great. I'm past that now. Rob is 31 years old and my other kids are all growing and out of the house and so on. I don't need a minivan anymore, right? So if I'm going in to look for a new car or a new vehicle, right? You know what? Someone's going to ask me those future-based questions. Selling is engaging someone in a future result that's good for them. I want that future result. What is it you want this car or vehicle to do for you? What do you want to do with your car? It's that future result, right? Before the sale starts, you must find those potential clients. Prospecting done right only creates a pipeline of potential clients. It helps you position yourself as their trusted advisor. Right? It creates that pipeline. I think it's important to stay in your lane as well. Identify your target market. This is absolutely critical. It's identifying your target market. And the target market could be a number of things. Specific industry. I know Chris Gorey, many of you might know Chris Gorey through CGIB.ca. He's part of that organization with Dave Patriarch. He's also works most of his time in the high tech sector, high tech startups. He's got, I think he shared with us in January, he's got 112 high tech startup clients. Some of them have grown, some of them have disappeared. But right now, he's got 112 startup tech companies as clients. Dave Patriarch publicly says, hey, I only work with small groups. Some of those groups have grown over the years, but he only works with small groups. Geographic location. Yeah, you know what? I don't know that much about Winnipeg, but I don't really want to go there for a meeting. Right? I want to stay in downtown, or sorry, in southern and central Ontario. Right? That's our geographic location. Yes, we do work with clients all across the country whose head offices are here in Ontario, right? But it's really the geographic location that's important. We got to learn their language. Learn your target market's language, right? I can speak to any business owner in that 1 to 100 size because I'm one of them. We're speaking the same language. We've got the same challenges. And we've got, I don't know, 35 employees or whatever the number is, but we've got the same challenges as they do. I like to say, join their association. If you've got a target market that's in a specific industry, join their association. We're a member of a number of different associations because of some of the advisors we work with and their target market. We are members of their associations. And start by becoming an expert in a specific field or target market. A friend of mine that ran an a PR agency in Toronto, he goes, one's a client. If you've got a client, great, that's terrific. If you've got two clients in the same industry, it's a conflict. You can't work with Ford and GM. It's conflict. But if you've got three or more, then you're an expert. If you work with Ford, GM, Chrysler, Nissan, Toyota, etc., all of a sudden you're an expert, right? So, one is a client, two is a conflict, three is an expert. But understand, what your client understand what your client's language is, and be specific in their target market, right? Join their association and become the expert, without a doubt. Tell your prospects why they're in your target market. The tighter your target market, the bigger the opportunity you have. But tell your prospects why they're in your target market. It's interesting because I've done this a lot over the years where I said, you are in my target market, and this is the reason why. We speak the same language. I'm an expert in, and you could see their relief. They go, oh, good. I thought you were much bigger than that, or I thought you were much smaller than that, or I thought you only did, you only dealt with blue clients and not yellow clients or red clients or plaid clients. Tell them why they are in your target market. Tell them that you are an expert in that target market. You will see their body language change. Great, I'm dealing with the right person. Again, Chris Gorey, 112 clients in that startup tech business. He walks into the 113th client and says, hey, I got 112 clients that look, talk, and smell exactly like you. I can help you solve problems. Great. They're automatically at ease, right? Tell your prospects why they are in your target market. Stay in your lane. Once you've identified who your target market is and define what problems that they have to have solved, right? It's interesting to find what problem, to find their problem that you're going to help them solve. Every campaign, every pitch needs to start and finish with your prospect's problems and how you're going to solve them. Stop selling, start helping, right? You got to create value first before you can expect anything in return. Stop selling, start helping. And I've got, two examples here, but if you're selling prospect, if your target market is bakers in the city that you live in or the town that you live in, you got to get up early. Guess what? Bakers start at 3 a.m. You got to get up early. If you're prospecting bars, stay up late. Don't call a baker at 4:30 in the afternoon. They're in bed. They've already finished their dinner because they get up at 3 a.m. And don't start calling bars at 8 a.m. They're just on their way home. Right? Two very different examples, but you see my point, right? You got to understand their business and how you're going to help them. Prospecting bakers is a great idea. Not everybody wants to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. What are they going to have difficulty with? Staff and keeping them motivated. You can help them with that. Do you know any ways? Yeah, I bet you do. Right? Bars, the same thing. Not everybody wants to work when other people play. Again, motivating key people. Right? If you're prospecting bakers, get up early. If you're prospecting bars, stay up late. I know a gentleman that spends an advisor that spends most of his time working in the construction industry. Guess what he doesn't own? Or guess what he doesn't wear? He doesn't wear a suit. Right? You know what he wears? He wears Carhartt pants, Carhartt shirt. He wears protective shoes. Right? He's got boots. He talks to them in their language. Right? It's important. Stay in your lane. Once you narrow down the best way to communicate with your prospects, or when you stay in your lane, pardon me, you can narrow down the best way to talk to your prospects. This the construction guy that I was talking about, where does he go? Their job site. What do they love? Tim Hortons coffee. He brings one of those little boxes of Tim Hortons coffee. So what? It's a $20 investment, right? That's how he talks to them, on their site, right? Social media. Yeah, social media works for certain types of prospects. Email, direct mail, in-person visitors, or in-person visits, pardon me. Direct mail is something that's, in my opinion, is coming back. No one gets direct mail anymore. The only thing that comes, very few things come by direct mail. A handwritten note, a stamp that you buy, not running through the stamp machine, but a stamp that you buy from the store, in an odd size envelope, not a number 10 envelope. You look at this envelope here, it's a little bit different than a standard, check size envelope with a window on it, right? And a handwritten note. Hey, John, thanks for the time you extended to me on the phone last night or yesterday afternoon. I look forward to furthering our conversation when we chat next week or next month or in April or whatever time you said, right? Handwritten note. Wow, that's going to stand out. What do you want to do? You want to stand out, right? Prospecting is about not who you know, it's about who knows you, right? In-person visits, again, it depends on the industry. I've got some clients that I've worked with for many, many years. They want to be in person. Understand the best time of the day to reach out to your prospects, whether it's time of the day, time of the year. When is their busy season? When is their slow season? Don't call a restaurant during dinner service or lunch service. Don't call a golf course in April. They're busy. Don't call a landscaping company in April and May. They are super busy. Call them in late October, November, December, January, February, right? You know what I'm saying, but it's important. It's important to know them and know your prospects and know when is the best time to reach out to them. The prospecting sales funnel, you've got to keep the pipeline full. It's got to trickle down. If you don't have enough prospects, you're not going to have enough sales. If you're frustrated, it's because you don't have enough prospects. Every August, I get frustrated. I start pacing back and forth. My wife, Michelle, says, why are you on edge? Right? I go, because you know what? No one to talk to. Everybody's, waiting until September, until school starts. I'm waiting for everybody to get back to work, and it's just, I look at my calendar when I have these frustrations and I go, I don't have enough meetings booked. It's a batting slump. It's real. It's real. But I'm willing to bet if you're finding frustration in your business, it's not because insurance companies are late or they're pissing you off or whatever it is. It's probably because you don't have enough enough sales meetings. You don't have enough people to talk to. Look at your calendar. That's the most important thing you can do, is have a full calendar, right? And I'm not talking about continuing education sessions. I'm talking about sales calls with prospects. Stop blaming others for all of the excuses. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of noise with Trump. There's a lot of noise with Trump. We can't blame Trump. We can't blame the status of our government. We can't blame interest rates. We can't blame our Canadian dollar because no one's buying from you, right? There's a lot of noise out there. We got to move that aside, and we've got to make sure the sales prospecting funnel is full. And if you think about it, all it is a numbers game. If every single acorn that fell out of an oak tree grew another oak tree, guess what? We'd have way too many oak trees. Guess what? We don't have too many oak trees. What our responsibility is to find those oak trees and shake them. We got to shake them so more acorns fall out, so there was more of them to grow, right? Prospecting is nothing but a numbers game. If you think about it, that's one thing I've learned over the 30 some odd years I've been doing this, but it's just a numbers game. All it is a numbers game. But we're going to improve those numbers with a strong value statement. So you're immediately referable to not only, the prospect you're talking to, but other prospects that they might be talking to. People buy things from people that they like. People buy things from people that they like. And like means a number of things. And like means trust. You've got a relationship with that person, etc. That relationship could be 30 seconds or it could be 30 years. But people buy things from people they like. You need to create that relationship first. Think about the last large item that you purchased. I'm not talking about going to the grocery store and buying dinner for tonight. I'm talking about the last large item that you purchased. Whether it be accounting, services or a new car or a house or a kitchen renovation, like I was talking about earlier. Were you dealing with an expert? Probably yes. Were they professional? Probably yes. How did their relationship begin? Think about when you were on the buyer side about that. And what was their value statement? And it was interesting because we raised our family in Newmarket and we moved up to Huntsville after we no longer had daily responsibilities. We live in Huntsville, Ontario, and we bought a cottage, if you would, lived in it for a couple of years, and then we wanted to change it into more of a home. So we did a pretty extensive renovation. And I had a relationship with this builder through our ski club, and this builder was a great guy. So I had a relationship with him, so I knew about his values. He was very professional. I knew some of the work that he had done and was very happy with the work. And it was really interesting because I was thinking back when I was putting this presentation together, and I was thinking back and I'm going, geez, what is Trevor's value statement? And what is Trevor's value statement? And I was thinking about it, and I asked him the question, we were looking at the plans and what they were going to do and the process and how they were going to do it. And then I said, Trevor, what's the budget on this? And he goes, budget? And he closes up all the plans, right? And starts rolling them up. And then he goes, what the budget is I want to build you a home that when you drive in the driveway, you're going to say, wow, every single time. That was his value statement. That's what I remembered. And it was interesting. We never talked about budget, right? But we talked about wow. We talked about it over and over and over again. And it's interesting. I just started to smile, right? And every time I drive in the driveway, I still smile, right? Now we're building a garage with him. And again, I'm not looking for competitive quotes. I'm not talking to other builders. I want this guy. And I've waited a couple of years to get this guy to get into his queue. So, thankfully we can start in the spring. But what was his value statement? His value statement was wow, right? Simple as that. Think about the last item that you purchased. Think about that relationship. Think about the entire transaction. Think about how good you felt. Let's reverse that. Now, how do you think your clients feel? What is it that you do? What's your value statement? Use your network. Referrals can be a huge source of business. Again, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Make sure your friends and your family and community know what your value statement is. I know someone that you should talk to. They built me a customized employee benefit solution. These guys are fantastic. Right? This is why having a clear, concise, and memorable value statement is so important. You got to be easily referable. I got a guy that can sell you some insurance. No, I got a guy that can build you a customized employee benefit solution. This is how it works for me. Holy smokes, I got to talk to him. I got to talk to him. It's about who knows you, Make it easy for prospect to know you and know your value statement, right? Show them why they should trust you. Use real life examples, right? We've got a number of case studies for you. We've got a number of case studies. We just did a case study that we just published very recently. It's on our website. I think it was in our last monthly newsletter as well. Highlight your expertise. Show them how you can solve their problem, right? Again, if you're dealing with bakers, show them how you've solved other bakers' problems. If you're dealing with bar owners, show them how you've solved other bar owners' problems, right? This builder, everybody that drives into one of his properties goes, wow. The owner, I should say, drives into one of their properties. It's like, wow, right? Include pictures, include bios, include some personal information. Oh my God, have a website. Keep your website up to date. Websites are free, right? Keep them up to date. You know, it's interesting. I was on somebody's website and I click on, contact me, and it shows you where their address is. Great. Or how easy it is to contact them. You go on to the news section, if there's a news section. The last update was, 1998. All right, we're a little outdated here, folks. Keep your website current. Blog, right? Blog on your website. Newsletters. Search engine optimization. Add new content regularly. Make sure your value statement is clearly visible. Ours is right on that very, very, very first page, as you can see. There it is again. We help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. Wow, I wonder how they do that. And then they check on, all sorts of different things, and they search around our website. Search engine optimization. It's interesting. We've had a couple of different people come to us and say, I searched 3 different things and your name came up on the first page every single time. I got to find out more. Wow, interesting. We work with Medcan. Medcan's one of our suppliers, and it's interesting. We work with Medcan, and I got a call from the president of Medcan one day, and he said to me, this is a number of years ago, because we were blogging about Medcan and the value of Medcan, and we were doing all sorts of stuff, and he goes, how did you end up, when someone searches Medcan, how did you end up above us? We were higher on the search than they were, and this was Medcan. It was pretty funny. We were only up there higher for a couple of weeks, but it was pretty funny, and we had a great conversation about it. Right? Create a strategic marketing plan within your target market. Understand, what mediums work best. Direct mail, newsletters. We've been again using these newsletters. We're committed to using these newsletters. Digital marketing. We just started this thing with the Benefits Trust, our Instagram page. Sorry, I couldn't think about it. Our Instagram page. We're just new on these Instagram pages. I'm doing these videos. I was just volunteering a couple of weeks ago for the Invictus Games here in Whistler, and I was doing all these videos about the Invictus Games and talking about another thing I was talking about was riding up the chairlift with the chairman of WestJet Airlines. But again, we're trying it out. Does it work? I don't know. But right now, I'm a benefits influencer. Woo-hoo. Follow us at the Benefits Trust on our Instagram page, right? Social media. Educational events like we're doing right now, these Zoomcasts. We're doing 36 of these, 36 of these. Oh, there we go. 36 of these Zoomcasts this year. We've committed to it. We're doing 24 blog posts, right? 2 a month. We've started this new program called Chat TBT. Lindsay, you're on the call. Could you talk just really quickly about Chat TBT?
Absolutely, Rob. So Chat TBT is a monthly session that we're hosting. The entire sales team is always available to you, but this is once a month where the sales team will pick a theme. The theme coming up is March 5th, and it's going to be on Formulary Protect and Protect Plus. So you can sign up. We'll have Claire, our director of underwriting, will be going through the program. And we encourage you and invite you to come and hear all about it and how it can help you stand out working with your clients. But it's going to be monthly, and I always get this wrong, Rob. It's the first Wednesday of every month.
Yep. First one. It's just a drop-in session. Thanks, Lindsay. It's just a drop-in session. You can come by, answer some questions, listen to other advisors' questions. It's a great interactive session. You can ask any question you want, but we're going to be talking about this particular theme of Formulary Protect and Formulary Protect Plus. And again, Claire Winstanley, our director of underwriting, is going to be on there, and she's fantastic. And it's, again, check out our website, thebenefitstrust.com. It'll tell you when it is. But create your plan. What is it that you're doing? You don't think you can't get up and say, today I'm going to write a newsletter. No, today I'm going to commit to writing 12 newsletters, right? Or whatever it is. But it's creating that marketing plan. But really, tell me in one concise sentence what your value statement is. I can be your board of advisors, right? If you want to run some things past me, let's set up a call. I'm happy to, right? I'm happy to. Let's set up a call. Let's set up a couple of calls, right? I can be your board of advisor, right? It's tell me in that one concise sentence, what is your value statement? What do you do? You're in a networking event. What do you do? You know, it's like speed dating. Tell me about yourself, right? It's what is it that you do? What's your value statement? First impressions matter. Remember, and this is something that I love to say in these presentations, yes pays you. When someone gets to yes, when you've created value for them, and they see that and they commit to doing work with you, that's what pays you when you get to yes. When someone says no, it teaches you. No teaches you. Maybe kills you. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about this and give me an example of that. And all they're doing is spinning your wheels. Maybe, 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 maybe. I'm this close. I'm this close. I'm this close. Maybe kills you. If I had all that maybe time back in my career, right? I'd have hair. I'd have hair. Remember, if they don't engage with you, next. Simple as that. Next. Move on. If they don't engage with you, next. Right? And you know in your heart, you know in your chest, you know in your gut if they're engaging with you or if they're just toying with you. Right? There's 440,000 prospects in Ontario. Move on. And if you don't like where they're going, if your values don't align, if your value statement doesn't align, right? You don't like where they're going, next. Right? Interviews are two ways. Life is short. Don't deal with people you don't want to deal with. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Let's have some questions, ideas, discussions. But before we do that, our advisor forum that Lindsay just spoke about, March 5th, there it is, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're also going to talk about myths and misconceptions about ASO. We're going to be doing that on March 19th, 25th, and 28th, I believe. So we've got 3 sessions coming up as well. And let's stop here, stop sharing, and let's spend the next couple of minutes talking about value and value statements. Does anybody have anything they want to ask or add or tell me about, or tell me what's worked or what hasn't worked? Again, it's about being in a room where everybody gets smarter.
Rob, you hit all the key points. Can you
Sorry,
hear me?
Oh, Gordon, there you are.
It's Gordon. Yeah. Best example, I produced a brochure a long time ago.
Yep.
Don't know whether you can see it.
Yep.
But it talks about all the things that you mentioned. And it's so important. And this is something I leave with a prospect.
Yep.
In relation to, while you're organizing your situation and some of the information we're going to need for our next meeting, I want to leave this with you so you can understand how I'm going to help you. And it's very clear.
Yeah, right, how are you going to help them?
Top there.
Yep.
Yeah, right up on the top.
I love it.
Want the solution. Okay. And then when you need a helping hand, we're here to do that.
Yep.
Most importantly, and this is the key part right down at the very bottom, every goal needs a strategy and every solution a plan. Because you can't get to where you want to go without a plan.
You got it. Well, as I said, when you ask someone a future-based question, it's a roadmap. If you're going to drive from, point A to point B and you don't know where you're going and you're not using your, roadmap on your phone or looking at the old roadmap, you're just going to drive around in circles or the wrong direction. So it's important to know where you're going. Derek, you had your hand up? Derek Lead?
Yes, thanks, Rob. I smiled when you mentioned direct mail, and it's obviously something that we've gotten away from as an industry, as most industries have. But on Friday, I picked up the mail out of the mailbox, and there was a letter, handwritten with our name and address handwritten on the basic white envelope with a stamp on the outside, and the return was a person's name and address that I didn't recognize, but it was an individual. I got home, and as opposed to the flyers that were in the mail that went straight into the recycling bin as I came in the door, I opened up this letter, this mailed letter, and it was from a real estate agent. And it was a prospecting letter. And
But
I
you
thought,
opened
wow,
it.
that I hadn't seen that in years.
But
And
you
it and
opened
it
it
just
and you
it,
read
it
it.
struck me when you brought that up this morning in the session, how direct mail, it's kind of years ago we'd get an email or an advertisement on our in our email box from somebody. We thought, oh, that was unique. Well, now we get them every day, 10, 15, 20 times a day, and we ignore them. This was actually a handwritten letter to us, just a solicitation for real estate. But it was very in-depth and very interesting. And I actually read it because the person took the time to put our name and her address and so on it. It was really quite interesting.
So, Derek, let me ask you a question. Do you remember the real estate agent's name?
Shannon was her first name, yes. And I won't give you the last name, but I can remember it for sure.
Okay, so here's something interesting. Derek is not, well, I don't know, but let's just assume for a moment you're not interested in selling your house.
Not this week. Maybe
Not
next
this,
week.
not this week, but maybe next week, right? Because you'd have to pack up 30 years of stuff, right?
Yes. Yes.
But you know what? All of a sudden, let's just say that Shannon hit that time just right. Hit that time just right. Yeah. Derek is thinking about selling his house. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should interview a couple of advisors or a couple of real estate agents, and Shannon might be one, right? Because here it is. Last week, first of all, if you got a real estate flyer, which people send those things out, that went right into the blue box, right into the recycling bin.
Yeah.
But now Derek remembers Shannon. Personalized handwritten note in an envelope, right? Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. But again, Don McKendrick, you've been around for a long time in this business, but if I write you a note, hey, Don, thanks for the time you extended to me on the phone the other day. I look forward to speaking to you in May. I promise I'll call you at the beginning of May to rekindle our conversation, whatever it is. But a handwritten note, holy shit. Yeah. Like it's something simple. It is something simple like that. You want to stand out from someone else. Wow. I gotta remember that. And back to Gord's comment about the pamphlet, right? The pamphlet, fantastic. By the way, Derek, thank you very much for sharing, and Gord, thank you very much for sharing as well. But the pamphlet, great leave behind piece, as you mentioned. But you know what else it is? A great door knocking piece. No one does door knocking anymore. You want to stand out? Hey, you walk into a business, I'm going to help you build a better benefit plan than you get anywhere else, right? Here's some information. Can you please pass this on to the decision maker with a little note? Right? A handwritten note, love to chat. Right? Again, it's just something different. You're going to stand out. Sounds hokey, but what goes around comes around. Guess what? We're back around. Everybody uses email. How many spam emails do you get a day? I get way too many. On January 1st, for the first 3 weeks of the month, 3 weeks of the year, I just go around deleting emails, right? And like unsubscribing, I should say. I don't know how I got subscribed to these emails in the first place, but I started unsubscribing to a whole bunch of ones I don't want to get anymore. So value statements are critical. I think they're critical. It took us a long time. It's difficult to create a value statement that can flow off your tongue, create that value within your organizations, within the stakeholders of your organization. Derek, as you mentioned, in our conversations in the past, you've got lots of insurance companies you deal with. They've got to know who you are, right? So it's dealing with everybody in your world. They've got to know your value statement. They're going to recommend you to people, right? It's that simple. We've spent an hour. Thank you all very much. Mike Ignatz is going to send you a CE credit for participating today. He's going to send you the slide deck. He's going to send you, or our marketing company is going to send you a real short survey. Please fill it out. Tell us how we did, how we can do it better tomorrow. Tell us what future subjects you want to see. On behalf of all of us at the Benefits Trust, Carrie, Jordan, who's with us today. Of course, Lindsay is here. Rob is here. And who I forgot, Mike, of course, is here. And we want to thank you very much for participating. And again, it's about creating value first. Create value first, and then from that value, you'll get great returns. We're going to stick around for a few minutes if you want to continue, but and share some ideas, thoughts, have a discussion. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you got to take off, we appreciate your time and wish you best selling. We are open for business, folks. We'd love to see your quotes. We'd love to, help you with you and your clients. So we're open for business. We're going to reach out to you. Please take our call, and we look forward to doing business together in the future. Thanks so much.